Okay, so on Saturday, one of my best friends was requested to host a party um, at a spot in DC. Um, the way our friendships work is if we are able to make it, we're coming. We're supporting each other through no matter what. This one is my girl. She's also a good friend of the show. You guys will get to meet her, and I cannot freaking wait. She's awesome. Beautiful boy mom, just like me. Nevertheless, so she's asked to host this club. So we're like, okay, cool. Like, we don't ever hang out much. So, like, it's the opportunity for us to put some clothes on, go have some drinks, vibe out, and really just enjoy one another. We're all moms. We're all either career oriented or married or like have things going on. So, with that being said, we all very much have our own lives. But it's an opportunity to support one another, so we're taking full advantage. My other bestie, Prince, who is also a friend of the show, he arrived first and he said, oh, okay, the neighborhood wasn't necessarily what he was expecting, but whatever. We're going to push forward because it's about my homegirl. My homegirl, my other bestie, she's like, y'all, like, I've been waiting for quite a bit of time. I don't know if, I still want to go through with it just because I feel like I've been waiting a while. So we're going through all this stuff. Like my third bestie, she was trying to order an Uber, but the Uber at the time had reached peak price point. So it was over $100. So it was just like all of these things kept happening and make it very difficult. Then when we get there, there was issue with her. If you're hosting something, you should have your own guest list, your table, your bottles provided. Like all of the ducks should be in a row. And things were not lining up. So it eventually gets to a point where it's like the young lady who asked my bestie to host comes and she's like, oh, like, let's go. Like, I'm here, let's move forward. And I'm like, well, at this point, I didn't feel the energy. I didn't like the way, things were playing out. I had called our Uber, like, my car's parked. My other bestie had Ubered there. So at this point, I'm calling another Uber because we're going somewhere else. We already look good. We don't put our on. We're finally all got sitters and we're all outside. Like, we're going to hang out. But it just won't be here because we were very uncomfortable. Like, things were not lining up. I did not feel like my best friend's time was respected. I didn't feel like her name was respected. And at this point, it's like, yo, like, let's go somewhere else. So we leave. We go somewhere else. We got in contact with the promoter there. We had an extremely flawless experience. She was treated better, there's just popping up and hanging out than she was at the party she was supposed to host. Nevertheless, we go in, we have a great time. We hop in our Uber, we're leaving. So we were all supposed to go to my best friend's car. She was just going to take me to my car. But just so happened, in the Uber, we were driving past where my car was parked. So, okay, cool. Hey, Uber driver, can we hop in my car right here? He's like, he's cool with it. So less than 10 minutes, Prince, my best friend, calls and he's like, oh my God, there is yellow tape. Because mind you, my best friend, that's the young lady was hosting, parked near that club. She's like, there is yellow tape all over the place. Police are all over the place. It is a mess. Come to find out, 7 people had been shot. 2, unfortunately, lost their lives on the scene. And this occurred during the time of let out. And pretty near her car because she had to go in that direction to get to her car. Which means that 3 moms of beautiful black little boys and, another gentleman, Jamel, because Prince, his life matters just as much as ours. But again, 3 moms could have been murdered. Saying this to say, when things don't line up and things feel difficult and things are not working out, stop forcing your hand. If it feels like they're giving you hell and hot water to get in that club, use that hot water to make you some hot tea and get your ass up out of there. Because things could have went awry. Worst case scenario being life lost. Best case scenario being absolutely traumatized. Okay? So there's always aftermath of events like that. And one of them being the residents of the neighborhood want the club to be shut down. So this poses the question. If there's violence that occurs outside of your institution or outside of your physical building, as a business owner, should you be responsible for it? I'm so curious to hear what you guys are going to say. Please sound off, Working Girls, and let me know, write me that email. Okay, Working Girls, give me an email in those comments and let me know if you think that a business owner is responsible for what occurs once their business closes or outside of their business or in the vicinity of their business. So earlier, I mentioned that we had my beautiful mom who prefers not to be on camera joining us. She's a producer of my show. I also have my auntie who is the show's auntie. Everybody calls her Aunt B.
Coach B.
Or Coach B or Coach Queen B. Okay. So she is here too. None of us have discussed our opinions surrounding the topic. So we're about to turn it over to these ladies. Ladies, you're going to hear their voices. They are two very distinct voices. You'll be able to tell them apart, but neither wish to be shown. Ladies, who would like to go first?
Absolutely not.
Okay, Mama D says, no, business owners should not be accountable for what happens outside their club after hours. Let's go.
First of all, crime. I just saw 2 girls get beat up in New York in front of a grocery store. So are they going to close that grocery store down? No. So should people have the right to their own entertainment who has nothing to do with an event that happened outside of the place? I'm sure they had security there to check for guns and all kinds of different things to keep the crime outside of the club. However, Shaw is not the best neighborhood. And I'm not saying that those people aren't entitled to a safe place. They are absolutely entitled. But you pick where you live. You live in a community where there is a club. You can leave. I feel like the owner of the club has the right to make his or her money. I don't feel that, I'm not a club owner. I am a business owner. Mm-hmm. But I do not think that they should suffer for the ignorance that happens outside of their establishment. It's not fair. I just don't think it's fair. That's just my opinion. I'm truly sorry for the families that have lost their family members. But one thing they need to do, they're talking about closing, they need to vote. And they need to get that mayor out of there.
I agree.
That's one thing they need to do. Because she needs to find some kind of resolution to help these kids and these people get these guns out of their hand. That's who they need to hold. You cannot hold a club owner accountable for what the mayor is not being held accountable for a whole city. Absolutely not. That's my opinion. It's me, Mama D.
Okay, that was Mama D's opinion. All right, Queen B, let us know.
Yes, hi to both of y'all, first of all, and to the audience. I wanna say hello to the audience, and first thing I want to do is give my condolences to anyone who might have been shot or killed behind this matter. I'm not for business owners closing down for the actions of others. First of all, in the DMVs and DC especially, there are so few police officers. And when you have lack of police officers, law enforcement to protect the citizens where they pay their taxes and where they live, it's not the business owner responsibility. As like my sister spoke on, things happen, and they happen in the schools. So the school supposed to close down. It happened in churches. We have mass shootings for all kind of reasons. they might be against, homosexuality. They could be against race. They could be against anything, or it could be just people just randomly just want to be careless or reckless. But the problem is that the district doesn't have enough law enforcement, and when you have that, we have to break that down.
Mm-hmm.
Where if they're supposed to have 4,000 police officers, and they only have 1,000 officers, now you have to put them on shifts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these guys might work the night shift, these guys might work the day shift, these guys might work the morning shift, which is not allowing enough police enforcement. So why should a business owner be held accountable for people action when it happens all the time?
And that business owner is paying taxes.
And people pay taxes where they live, and people, and I understand that. But you'll be shutting down half of DC.
That's where I was going to go with it. So I feel awful, as we're a family who has lost someone to gun violence. And it was literally in front of a store. But what could we really do? The store owner, he didn't murder my brother, and at the same time, I think you both touched on something that's so significant. The problem isn't necessarily the club. The problem is systemic within this city. And the problem is that there is violence rampant throughout the city.